It's Monday once again, and I'm glad to be here. The tracker is back on your set, and of course, my name, Benjamin Nketsia. Today, we have a special agenda. Just like what we did last week, we are sort of continuing that agenda. Now, I'll be telling you about the top 10 players in Ghana currently, as far as football is concerned. Yes, so this time around, we are setting the tone with what we think here on the tracker, as opposed to what all of you out there think, as opposed to who are the top 10 best players in this country. And the text and WhatsApp lines are there on your screen: 0550-585-832, 0550-585-832. So you can get to us via text and WhatsApp during the show, as my guest and I chit-chat through why certain players are where they are, what has accounted for it, what leagues do they play in, are they playing at their full potential, all that. So we have a lot coming up on the show today. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll get to our motivational message from the day, and then the bus rolls on. Guess who is joining me on the show today? My good friend, looking dapper, Fentuo Tahiru. Fentuo.
Nana.
Suit is looking slick.
Thank you. That's it. Should I give you my tailor's number?
I was about to say that you have the Ian Wright goggles to go with it as well. You are really doing...
Ian Wright's one are very thick frames.
Yeah.
Really thick and round.
You are really doing the most this year.
But no, these are necessary.
Yeah?
This is necessary too.
I'm sure that by the time the show will be over, you have a few new fans.
Oh.
A few new fans.
New fans.
Don't you want the new fans?
New year, new fans.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, today we are doing something that I think we'll be doing a lot more of this year, telling the people our opinion of who the top 10 players in Ghana currently are. List was compiled by yourself and myself. There was some elimination by rough tactics, but at the end of the day, we managed to come out with something really cool. So we'll have it on your screens there in a bit there. Top 10 players in Ghana currently, and then we'll pick them out individually, starting from the bottom, and discuss them individually. So if we have that artwork there, we'll display that for you in a bit. The top 10 players currently in Ghana. Fantastic stuff. They love the artwork. So you see them there. In the bottom pile, number 10, you have Solomon Asante. He's had an absolutely beastly season for his side in the USL. Andre Dede Ayew seems to have gone under the radar because he plays for Swansea City these days, but same old Andre Dede Ayew grinding away at things there. He's almost at in double figures as far as goals are concerned, and we still don't know if he's a pure striker, so that's definitely impressive. And then Baba Idrisu, not very well known in this part of town, but in the last two games or so that Kwesi Appiah oversaw with the Black Stars, he was huge in those matches. And for those of you who watched that game that went on in Sao Tome and Principe, and also before that, the game against South Africa, you would have seen him in the Mohamed Kudus, also doing his thing in Denmark. 7 goals in 15 appearances for Nordsjælland. So you have Mohamed Kudus in there, and then you have Frank Achampong, plays his football in China for Tianjin Teda. Fentuo decides to call him Tianjin Messi. So Tianjin Messi is in there. These days can't seem to get into the national team, but we'll see if we can shed some light on that as well. And then there's Alfred Duncan, the injury-prone Alfred Duncan, still making this list. So it just tells you how special he is as a player. And then for me, the guy who represents consistency and steady growth ever since he left the shores of Ghana. I can't point to any other than Richard Ofori. He plays these days in the South African top flight for Maritzburg. He's captain or general captain for the side in the Mubarak Waka. So we dug up a really interesting stat there for him. 31 tackles, currently ranks 3rd in La Liga. So Wakaso, still not scared to stick in a foot and still not scared to make that hard tackle, doing a lot for his team out there, Deportivo Alaves. And then also you have Thomas Partey there. He's not really scored a lot this current campaign, but his presence as a player and indeed his general contribution, his versatility when he's thrown on into matches just gives you a good sense of how important he is. And then the new king on the block. Once upon a time, he was everybody's favorite guy to criticize, but he has turned the corner. He's putting in the work, and he scored 6 Premier League goals this season, including one that I think is a contender for goal of the season. Jordan Ayew plays for Crystal Palace, and I say Jordan, and we say on the tracker here that he's Ghana's best player currently. Fent, just your general overview on the list before we delve into the details.
What a list.
Yeah, what a list.
What a list. I'm sure lots of people will be watching right now and they'll be disagreeing with some of the names.
But they should tell us who they think should have made the list.
We are interested, Tell us who you think should have made the list. Who would you replace in that list? It's a very interesting... I mean, somebody may think that maybe Koja somewhat deserves to be there. Somebody may give, I don't know, Andy Yadom a shout, plays in the championships very regularly as well. Somebody may want to give... Maybe, I don't know, Patrick Shumesi a shout. He's also doing well. Or maybe even Kasim Nuhu.
Richmond Boakye-Yadom.
Even Richmond Boakye-Yadom. You know, so all these players will think that perhaps they deserve a place in the team. And some people watching right now would think the same way. And we're interested because this is not, it's not some sort of list that is definitive or this is definitely
this is what we think.
Exactly. So, you know, I'm interested in what other names could pop up. But, I mean, if you look at this list, it's very hard to disagree with a lot of the names in there. Maybe 90% of the names, a lot of people will agree that they deserve to be there. Because these are all players who are playing consistently at club level, are contributing significantly at club level, have been influential in the national teams when they've been called, because some of them have not had the opportunity. So if you look at all these parameters, you put them all together, you can understand why a lot of these names are in our list. And I really think that I'm particularly pleased that if you look at all these 10 players, Benjamin, every single one of them is a regular in their team. There was a time when the Black Stars didn't have regular players or players playing regularly.
Made up with warm-up, bench warmers.
You know, bench warmers at club level. This time around, all of them have played more than 80% of their club games so far this season. Every single one of them. You look at even Frank Echampo. He's at pre-season right now with Tangent Teda because the Chinese Super League came to an end. But the rest of them who are in active season, they have played in more than 90% of their club matches, if I'm not mistaken. Take Babai Juicy, 17 games out of 19. Mubarak Wakasu, 16 games out of 19. Pate, 17 games out of 19. Jordan Ayew, every single game. Andre Ayew, the same.
When they are fit, they play.
When they are fit, they play, you know. So it's a very, very strong list. And I think that it's... Because we do this with one eye on the Black Stars team. And I'm particularly glad, Benjamin, I think that's where the excitement really is, that there are names in there, in that top 10 list, that are under the age of 23.
True.
And we're talking about a 19-year-old Kudus or a 21-year-old
absolutely fantastic form.
Exactly. You know, so so the future does look, the present, the now looks brilliant. The players are in great form. But with also one eye in the future, I think that this is a list that that anybody that takes up the Black Stars coaching job will be looking at this and thinking that he is absolutely blessed. Because trust me, there are other players who have played pretty much maybe every single minute or maybe 90% of their club matches so far this season, but don't find themselves in that particular list. And there are players, as you mentioned, who, when they are fit, would play for their various clubs, but don't find themselves in this list. Afri Aqua is still in with a shout. He's still doing well for Empoli. He's gone to Turkey now, and he's doing well there. You know, you talk about Patrick Shumesi, he's moved to Turkey, he's playing well as well. Kasim Nuhu has changed clubs.
We could have touched on even Joseph Edu, plays for Celta Vigo.
Joseph Edu, he started well, I'm not sure what has happened.
He's not played a lot in recent times.
Yeah, you know, so he will think he has a shout as well. And then there is the other central defender in Spain, who is also having a really good season. So there are lots of... recently, I think he's been linked with the move to even England or so. I'll get his name for you. But bottom line is, I'm very happy. It doesn't matter who made the list, who didn't make the list. I'm very happy that...
You really eliminated somebody. I'll tell the viewers at the end of the show.
But I'm happy because I think that when you look at the players on that do not make this particular list, Benjamin, there are a lot of them who are also playing regularly. And that competition is what we need for our national team. Because not too long ago, we could have come up with a top 10 list of players who are not playing in the national for their various clubs and yet would make a top 10 list because the quality of the Black Stars players was so low at the time. You know, there was a time where if you took out Koja and Samoa, the rest of the players were basically bench warmers. You know, that was a time when Andre Ayew was at West Ham. Jordan wasn't getting playing time.
Partey was warming the bench and
exactly. So not too long ago, a lot of these players were not playing regularly for their national teams. All of a sudden, they're playing at the top echelons of European football, and it's really great to see.
Great to see. Let's begin the countdown. Number 10 on the list has to do with a guy I think should be in our national team. He's creative, he's quick, he can score, and he displayed that in the second tier of the United States soccer leagues. Well, some people say it's the USL, but it takes a lot for somebody to walk into a team. And just after, 3 years or so, he's been made captain of the team. And also, he smashed just about every record you can find. He smashed the record for combined goals and assists this season. He scored 22 goals for his team this season and over 10 assists in the process. Led his team to the title. Also led his team to a couple of cups. Won practically every individual accolade there was to win. Who am I talking about? Solomon Asante. Solomon Asante is an academy product from Ghana, went on to play for TP Mazembe. These days plays for Phoenix Rising in the USL. Fent, this was a guy who once upon a time was featuring in our national team. I was excited about him. He seemed to have dipped in form a little, picked up an injury or so, and then all of a sudden became a forgotten guy before popping up in the United States with Phoenix Rising. It looks like he's found home.
He has. Unfortunately, he's still a forgotten guy around these circles, and that is a sad thing. Perhaps it has something to do with the league in which he finds himself. But this is also a national team, and I'm talking about the Black Stars, a national team, especially with Nketsia in charge in the past, that has not shown consistency in the criteria that has been used to invite players. Because there was a time when a player playing in the USL had a national team call-up to come and play at left-back for the national team. And Solomon Asante, he's been the best player at the USL, not just at Phoenix Rising, where he had the opportunity to play alongside Didier Drogba, who owns, or partly owns, the team. He's absolutely dominated. After one season, he was made captain. They won the USL Championship, 22 goals in 26 matches in a single season. He's bossing the league. It does appear that his quality is far and beyond the USL. But even in cases like that, you still need to step up, because we've had situations where players have gone to leagues where they're supposedly much better than, and then they've relaxed. He's gone there, and the quality may not match up to what he's used to, maybe in Congo or playing in the CAF Champions League or even in the Ghana Premier League. But he's still gone there. He's working really hard. He's been made captain. He's showing leadership skills, and he's taking up responsibility now. Because I've always liked Solomon Asante, even from his days at Brecum Chelsea. He's always come across to me as a very dedicated professional.
From Academy, one of the academies.
Yes, doesn't smile too much. He gets about his business. His diminutive, his low sense of gravity allows him to negotiate pass or position with so much ease. He's silky, he's quick, he's very skillful.
All the attributes you are giving him, and he's still playing the USL.
He does. I know, and that's the thing. There are times when you wonder what the agents of certain players are doing. Because Solomon Asante, for example, he should not be playing. Look, maybe he likes where he's playing right now, but in terms of pure talent and pure quality, Solomon Asante should not be playing in the USL. I
think that's one of the biggest issues with our players. Our players don't play for teams according to their talent level. It's almost like, you know what, if I have an agent and he can get me this team and the money is good enough and I can find some stability, I will stay here because I won't destroy a stable situation.
Exactly. And you know, even for Solomon Asante, in the USL where he finds himself, I think that a more reasonable move for him would have been to join the team in the MLS. You know, a trade to an MLS club would make so much more sense, because then it would be one step up, and it would also mean that more recognition and more attention on him. And sometimes, not sometimes, a lot of the time, as far as Black Stars call-ups are concerned, the more noise there is around you, the more likely you are to get a call-up. So, unfortunately, when you play in the USL, it doesn't seem to have Maybe he doesn't have the right connections. As I indicated, there was a time where a player in the USL was called when he wasn't even dominating in the USL. He's dominating in the USL, and he doesn't seem to be getting the call up. But I think that if you're looking at top 10 Ghanaian players in terms of form, and we're looking back last year, last 2 years, currently, he should definitely be in the top 10. That's why we've decided to put him there. I think that he very much deserves it.
Very much deserves it. Solomon Asante making the top 10 place for Phoenix Rising. But you can join the conversation via text and WhatsApp 0550-585832, 0550-585832. Let's move on to number 9 on our list, and it's no other than Andre Dede Ayew. Of course, he himself has scored quite a number of goals this season. It's gone under the radar somewhat because he plays in the championship, but some of those goals he scored have really been monumental for his side. He's rescued them from losing situations. He's managed to rescue draws for them out of nothing. He's just been that talismanic figure that they need. But it looks to me like he's playing his way to a better destination. In fact, I don't know if that's what you think.
And that better destination could come as early as January, this month, because already the rumors have started that Andre Ayew could be on his way out. I saw a story on one of the portals that he was going to be Jose Mourinho's first signing at Tottenham Hotspur, and I thought, did his agent do this, or this is real? You know, but of course.
But he's been connected with the big clubs forever.
Every time.
Liverpool, they said he was favourite.
There was a time when, exactly, you know, but I think, you see, Andre Ayew's footballing career, it's a bit of an enigma, in my opinion. Where you expect him to triumph and really take it by storm, he sort of lets you down. Because when he went to Fenerbahce, even though he was on loan, a lot of us expected him to dominate the Turkish league.
At the point, they were in the relegation zone.
At the point, they were that bad, you know, and this was a club that also signed a player like Victor Moses, and they had lots of top players. The manager, Koku, was fired, and they had all sorts of problems. And, you know, this was in the Turkish league, where you expected a player like Andre Ayew to go in there and dominate, take advantage. You know, and they trusted him a lot, you know, but it didn't go according to plan. He's come back to Swansea, and while we can sit here and pay glowing tribute to him for how good he's being at Swansea, we also have to recognize the fact that he took this decision with a major sight on the Black Stars team. Before he took, I can tell you this, before he decided to join Swansea, which is in the Championship, second division in England, he knew that when it comes to the Black Stars team, people will always talk about where you play. And whether you deserve to be, whether the Black Stars captain should be playing in a second-tier league anywhere in the world, in fact. So he picked the phone, he called Nketsia Appiah, the Black Stars head coach, and told him, if I decide to stay at Swansea in the Championship, what would you make of that? Would you relegate me? Would you use that as an opportunity to kick me out of the national team? And he said, no. If you stay at Swansea and you're performing, I'll call you. So he spoke to his people and he realized he made sense because because the years before he had been moving too much. In fact, you have to look at in about 10 months, Andre Ayew had changed clubs how many times? He had changed clubs about three times because he moved from West Ham in January. Then by the end of the season,
he was at Fenerbahce.
He was at Fenerbahce. So West Ham, Swansea, Fenerbahce in less than 10 months. He didn't want that. To change another club would speak...
At the point, he was being touted as a relegation specialist.
You know?
They say that if he plays for your club will get relegated.
That was Jordan, Mo. It was his brother who got that very unkind...
But they played together. They were at Swansea together.
At Swansea. When I did predict they were going down, I asked him not to join his brother because then they would reunite in the championships. And then he didn't listen and still went. But I think Swansea has always been home for Andre Ayew. And he's gone back there. He's doing really well. He's their best player at the moment. He's their top earner as well. So there's really no debate why he should be performing the way he's performing. And every single day when I watch Swansea TV, the highlights, the interviews, even the comments and all the posts of Andre Ayew's goals and all of that, then I always you know, I always get the feeling that a lot of the fans actually don't think that they deserve Andre Ayew, because a lot of them, every time, they're always talking about the fact that the board need to keep him, they don't have to let him go, and don't sell him, and because even there is that feeling among Swansea fans that they don't deserve him. And I think that that's the thing, because for a lot of people, Andre Ayew should be playing for a much bigger club in a much better league than the Championship. Of course, the Championship is competitive as well, but Andre Ayew looks to many people like a Premier League material. And to be playing in a division below, I'm not surprised he's dominating the way he's dominating. But it's still the Championship. And if you're rating competitions, if you take out the top 5 leagues, I think the Championship ranks like 8 or so in terms of the best.
They are strong as the top flight league or some other.
Thank you. Like stronger than Turkey or you know, or Netherlands or Belgium or so. It is still a very strong league indeed. So if I were advising him, I would tell him to stay put until the summer at least, because
you don't think a January move makes sense? That would be 4 clubs in what?
You know, in a year. And it makes, because it was last January that he moved from Spurs. Sorry, he moved from West Ham to join Swansea. And in the summer, he moved to Fenerbahce, came back. And now, so I think that he should stay put. He's in the best form of his life at the moment. He's playing brilliantly week in, week out. He's getting minutes. Last month, I saw in December, Swansea nominated their top 4 goals of the month of December, and guess what? Andre Ayew scored 3 of the 4 goals. You know, so
Andre Ayew is Mr. Swansea.
He's Mr. Swansea basically. So he's in a great place right now, and I think that he deserves to be in this list because he's gone back. He's rediscovered his form. He's scoring goals. He doesn't need to run a lot. He just needs to score. And Andre Ayew is the most intelligent goal scorer we have in the national team.
Well, very well said. Let's move on to somebody who doesn't really score a lot of goals. He's not a veteran. He's a youngster. He's just burst onto the scene more recently. Like I said, if you watched Ghana's last 2 AFCON qualifiers, you would have noticed Baba Idris, who plays his football for Mallorca Football Club. He's a defensive midfielder, and he is such a calming presence as far as that middle of the park is concerned. So Baba Idrisu there in your shot, like I said, he's an a defensive midfielder, plays for Mallorca. They are struggling in the Spanish La Liga, but he still gets his minutes. He's made quite a number of appearances, and that appears to have caught the eye of the national handler. So Baba Idrisu out there in your shot there, big guy. Fent, I have a lot of hope for this guy. I think he'll be big.
He is. He will be, I think, if he continues to work as hard as he... And you see, he's a very smart guy. Very well educated. I've interviewed him before. He speaks really well.
Where did he pop up? For those who, I mean, don't really know much about him.
Tema. I've forgotten the name of his coach club, but he's a Tema boy. And he moved to Spain in 2017 to join Mallorca straight up. And he got loaned to Recaldo or something, one other Spanish Segunda team. And then, you know, he got his big break playing for Mallorca last season, and this season has been his breakout season. So far this season, he's played well over 1,600 minutes already.
Wow.
1,400 minutes already. He's made, what, 17 out of the 19 games they've played. He's played in 17 of them. He's, you know, we saw him partner Thomas Partey in the games against South Africa and Sao Tome. And he is very calm on the ball.
True.
There was a time where I thought, and I always wondered to myself whether we would get a player like Mubarak Wakasu, who would work so tirelessly for his teammates. Doesn't matter if he's scoring himself or not. He just wants to get the job done. Edusio is coming, and he actually has a cleaner pass, a cleaner touch of the ball than Mubarak Wakasu. He's very, very composed on the ball, very intelligent, and he is... I think he's one for the future. He's one of those players that
could become like what Efriakwa has become for us.
Kind of. And he's also, I think a lot of his football has come from the Spanish system, where he went as a teenager. So he's been educated in that particular system, much like Thomas Partey. So the intelligence, the awareness is there. And I think that if you look at him as well, he seems to be doing really well for himself. I remember when I was at Cape Coast, during the Black Stars game against South Africa, there was a huge group of people who came with Baba Idrisu banners all over to celebrate his debut call up to the national team. His club, the club Mallorca, were over the moon. They tweeted every single time that he was with the national team with pictures. So he's a star boy. And La Liga have interviewed him. They've done fun interviews with him, serious interviews with him. They've done like history lessons about Ghana with him. I've watched videos of him talking about jollof and all kinds of things on the La Liga channel.
Rounded guy.
You know, all around. So he looks like a really well-rounded, very well-educated, fun, ultimate professional to deal with. And I think that these are all...
We don't have a lot of those, if we are being honest.
We don't have a lot of those. So, so far, he's scandal-free. We've not seen him at any...
That is important to mention as well.
It is. We've not seen him at any competitions yet for the Black Stars team. He's just been introduced into the national team. And I think that the way he's continuing at club level, Mallorca might get relegated. Where my one eye is what would happen to him. Will he decide to stay in the Segunda, or will he change clubs? And if he's changing clubs, usually, then in our experience, that is where a lot of our players have often gotten it wrong. Changing clubs. Because a lot of them, they start, they're doing well,
and then they don't get playing
They change
time.
clubs and things seem to fall apart since then. We have a good example right now. Kasim Nuhu should be in this list. When he was playing for Young Boys, he was one of the best players, most talked about, heading all the time. He moves to Hoffenheim, he plays a couple of matches, gets an injury, comes back. He's not the same player anymore. He's been loaned to Fortuna Düsseldorf. They're getting pummeled by Bayern Munich week in, week out. And it's not going exactly as great as we all expected. Because, but, you know, it is one of those things. It can happen, but if you are mentally strong, you can always come out of it. And I have a lot of belief in Kasim, and I think that he can still come out of that. For a player like Baba Idrisu, whatever happens to Mallorca, his next move is crucial. And I think that is where we should all keep our eyes on.
So Baba Idrisu definitely should look to make a smooth transition based on what happens to Mallorca in the Spanish La Liga. We'll be taking a break here, but the text and WhatsApp line 0550585832. The tracker takes a quick break. When we come back, we have some really interesting names to reveal here on the tracker. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the tracker here on Citi TV. We are counting down to the top 10 players in Ghana currently, according to the tracker. We've gone by a couple of names that you know. Andrea Yu's gone by, Solomon Asante, Baba Idrisu. Number 7 on the list happens to be the youngest player also on the list, Mohamed Kudus. 7 goals in 15 appearances for FC Nordsjælland in Denmark, and he got a goal also on his Black Stars debut, so announcing himself properly onto the national stage. And I loved what he said after the game. I saw an interview of his. He says that it's easy for anybody to come into the national team and get a goal, but it takes hard work and dedication to actually stay with the pack.
Yeah.
Perfect mindset for the youngster to have.
Yep. The Black Stars team is like a carousel.
Not for guys like Jonathan Mensah and Andrea Yu.
Well, even for them, it's gone past them and come back at some point. You know, like Nketsia will always say, he says, it's like the streets of New York. No standing here. Move. You know, when your time comes, you take advantage. When it doesn't, you move. And I think that he took massive advantage when his chance came. 19 years old, he was at the Under-17 World Cup in India in 2017. A lot of us didn't think that he had a good tournament, but he's gone to Nordsjælland and he's absolutely blasted his way to FC Nordsjælland. He's their best player right now. By the way, they're in Ghana now having a pre-season at Right to Dream Academy. So, but I think that he is a very, 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 very good footballer, Kudus Mohamed. He can't tell what his weaker foot is or what his stronger foot is.
What position does he play? When he burst onto the scene in the beginning, I thought he was a central midfielder. And then the last time Nketsia used him in a game,
played
he looked
like
like
number 10, and he just behind the striker, which is where he's played a lot at FC Northland, an attacking midfielder, and he's created a lot of goals. He has the knack of bulldozing his way through the middle. He's that skillful in getting past players, and he's so strong for his age. I think there's really not a lot we can say about this youngster. He's a Ghana boy through and through. Yeah. It's a Nima boy, so he's educated a right to dream.
Yep.
Went to Ghana under 17, Ghana under 20, FC Northland. So he's a Ghana boy through and through, and he's been through our system. He's been through the academy system, and right now he's getting opportunities where. At a team that really knows him well, because Right to Dream and stuff are all full of people who have worked at Right to Dream. Yep. I'm talking about Northland staff are full of people who have worked at Right to Dream. Didi Dramani, and there's 7 of them, 7 Ghanaian players who are at FC Northland right now. Ibrahim Sadek is one of them, who also played with Kudus at the under 17 level coming up. Goswe Donyo is also one of them. They are in a very comfortable environment. And I think that might be helping them thrive because he don't get to miss home too much. Recently, I saw on Instagram that he had taken his mother there to make him all the, Ghana jollof or the Zongo food, the Tozafi. So, I mean, you can understand why he would be in such great form because he's happy. And right now, as a youngster, that's all you need. You have your mom with you, and she takes care of you. All you can think about now is football. So right now, that's all he needs to focus on. And I think that so far, it's going great for him.
Let me read a few tweets that have been coming in. Mudasiru Abdul Yakin says that Kasim Nuhu needs to be in this list. And then Asante Kwame also says that Partey is relatively better, but all the others are average. Unless we get players that are consistent like Mane, we will not get to the level of claiming African best. And then there's also one from Monamin. It says that if you think you should include Latif Blessing. If Solomon Asante can make it into the top 10, then you might as well include Latif Blessing. I sort of agree with you because he was influential for his team, especially during the playoffs there. But unfortunately, they were knocked out sort of early. Let's move on with the list here. We have to run through the list a little quicker. Now, you get to number 6 on our list is Tianjin Messi, a.k.a. Frank Achampong. He, for me, has been the most mistreated player as far as Black Stars call-ups are concerned. He's always on form, he's always scoring, he's assisting. Even when he doesn't score or assist, he's influential. He rarely ever has a bad game. He's
their best player. One of the best players in the Chinese Super League, no doubt.
Yeah, look at him there. He says that I own the Chinese league.
In a league that has the likes of Hulk and Oscar and co. He's top scoring in all of those guys. Scored 17 goals last season. This season, he scored 9 goals as well. He's a pre-season with them currently. He's been absolutely phenomenal. I remember when he made the move to the Chinese Super League, a lot of us thought, what are you doing? You're playing for Anderlecht. You're playing in the Champions League week in, week out. Why are you moving to China? But he's gone there, and he's shown that he's not just gone there for the money. He's also gone there to play football. And thanks to the outrageous ambitions of the Chinese, their Super League is now beginning to get the attention of many, many people. And now we're getting to see him, we're getting to hear about him, and he's one of those players that deserves a chance. The last time he was with the national team was when we went away to Kenya and lost by 1-0 in that qualifying match for AFCON 2019. He got, you remember, he got an eye infection or whatever, something, had to leave. So he didn't really play, he left. And since then, he's not being invited back to the national team, even though he's done the most. He's really played consistently. He's scoring goals, he's assisting, he's having fun, and he deserves another chance with the national team, Frankie Champon. I think that he's one of those players that has the ability to produce something out of nothing. And I think the Black Stars team seems to be lacking players of that nature in recent years. A player that is quick, that can produce an absolute world class. We've always depended on a player like Christian Atsu to do that. But Atsu, in the last 2 years has not been the same player. And Frankie Champon, in my opinion, will be the perfect replacement for a player like Christian Atsu because he's just as skillful and he's faster than Christian Atsu, and his eye for goal is even much better than that of Christian Atsu. So he is one of those players that we could use our competitions where even if he's not starting, once he's thrown out from the bench, he can go in there, change the pace of the game and produce an absolute worldie because he does have that up his sleeves at times.
So Frank Achampong definitely having a few tricks up his sleeve. Alfred Duncan, he's been literally the most injury-prone player on this list, but his talent gets him onto this list. For me, it's more of what we are yet to see. I keep seeing glimpses of brilliance, flashes of a guy who might become a world dominator, but he just cannot seem to stay healthy enough to fulfill that potential.
Yeah. So far this season, though, he's done well. He stayed fit. He's played 13 games in Serie A out of the 19 matches for Sassuolo. He's one of the best players at Sassuolo. He recently extended his contract. And
amid interest from AC Milan and clubs like that.
Yeah, I understand that the extension was based on a gentleman's agreement he had with the club that if a Champions League club came calling, he would go, and then the club would also get good money because he still has a lot of years left in his contract. You know, players do that for clubs that have done a lot for them, so as a way of giving back to the club and letting them get the most amount of money they could possibly get for him. But Alfred Duncan is one of those players. Unfortunately, the last time he was invited into the national team, he was played out on the wings and he didn't exactly excel. But he's a central midfielder that is strong, that is very good passer of the ball. He's got a 25-yard, 30-yard pass in his legs, 90-yard, 70-yard pass in his legs. He's that player. I think that he is actually a proper like-for-like replacement for a player like Mubarak Wakasu. And he's also Italian-educated footballer. So
people forget that he started his career at Inter Milan.
Inter Milan youth level, where he learnt a lot. And he's tactically brilliant. You know, we've had conversations with him here. I remember I've interviewed him here on the tracker before, and the way he speaks, you can tell that he's a very, very intelligent player indeed, Alfred Duncan, and his talent is not in doubt. And now he's staying fit as well. So I think that going forward, he should be an absolute crucial part of that Black Stars midfield going forward.
Well, we used to complain about leaders in defense, but Richard Ofori, for me, has emerged as one of the most steadily improving players we have in this country. And also, he's become such a sure thing. Like, you just cannot look past the Black Stars and not mention Richard Ofori because he gives you such assurance when he's between the sticks.
Yeah, and it helps that he's captain of Marisbeck, you know, in the South African Premier Soccer League. So,
and that's saying something because guys like Fatau Dada played in South Africa
didn't exactly
didn't
go
have
too well.
Good.
You know, but I think that for Richard Ofori, he's always been a leader. He's always been a born leader. Even at Wow Stars, he was a leader. He's very commanding.
He's come a long way. You know, Rahman Osman tells a story of when Richard Ofori used to purchase Indomie from the junction at American House. These days, I'm sure he barely eats that type of food.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's a big boy now.
Yeah, I mean, he's been to how many AFCONs now? 2 AFCONs now. I mean, the Black Stars winning bonus is no joke.
No.
Can buy you a house. And it can buy you a decent meal other than Indomie. I'm not saying Indomie is not decent, but I'm just saying levels, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Move on from Indomie to stir-fried noodles.
It's Indomie when you're buying it on the street. It's stir-fried when you're buying from the restaurant.
Exactly,
you know?
what it is. Exactly what it is.
But he's I think there was a time where we all feared. I think there was a space between when Olele retired and when Richard Ofori came in, where our goalkeeping was a shambles. And I'm not even going to mince words, but this was around the time that Mr. Iovami was in charge of the Black Stars goalkeeping, and he was Razak Brahima. He wasn't the most convincing. Richard Ofori is coming, his take to claim, and he's remained a very, very reliant reliable goalkeeper since then. So I'm very happy for him. He deserves to be in this list, and he's giving us a certain stability in the goalkeeping department that we didn't have when Olele retired. Because whether it was Razak Brahma, Matao Dauda, or whether it was what's the Norwegian's name? And I call him Norwegian.
Adam Kwarase.
Three of them.
He was my best goalkeeper, though. I thought he was brilliant. He just wasn't mentally tough
Since
enough.
Olele retired, we've had Kwarase, we've had Fatau Dauda, we've had Razak Brahma, and none of them was able to really lock down the goalkeeping role until Richard Ofori came in, and now he's giving us a certain assurance at the back, which is great.
Okay, let me read a few messages coming through. This one here is from Kanija from Senya Brek, who says, "Hi, I'm enjoying the tracker. Mohamed Kudus doesn't deserve to be on the list because of where he's playing now. He needs to be in England or in Spain." He says, "I think that we should try and convince Tariq Lamptey to play for Ghana." Now, this one also from Abdul Aziz from Savelugu, says that, "I love the show, keep up the good work." We'll take a quick break here on the track, and then we'll reveal our top three. Who makes the top three? I'm sure you've seen the list already there. We'll touch on them briefly before we send the show home. Stay with us. Welcome back to the tracker here on Citi TV. Benjamin Nketsia here. I'm chatting with my good friend Fentuo Tahiru. Fentuo, number 3 on our list, Mubarak Wakaso. Still tough tackling, still doing what he's always done best, not backing down from any challenge.
Is there really any justification needed here? Nope. I think Mubarak Wakaso,
he's an absolute beast.
Oh my goodness, he's a world-class player. And I'm not just throwing that word around because he gets thrown around a lot. He is very unlucky, Mubarak Wakaso, when it comes to transfers. But Alaves, he stayed there longer in the last 10 years than he's stayed at any club at all. And he seems to have found a very happy home there. He's doing well. When he's fit, he plays. So far this season, he's played in 16 out of the 19 matches they've played this season. He ranks 3rd in the most tackles in La Liga this season. You know, one of the players better than him is a certain Casemiro. So there's no surprise there. 31 tackles as at match day 19 at age 31.
He doesn't seem to have lost any energy.
He's not lost any energy at all. And Mubarak Wakaso seems to be one of those players that has used kind of like, I don't want to get into it, but kind of like a right age, because I've known him for as long as I can remember, back in 2005, you know, for the under-17 in Peru. When he just came off the academy.
Back when I first saw him, he used to play as a left wing back for Villarreal.
He was actually a left back at some point.
Play for Villarreal back then, bombing up and down the wings.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's not really a lot that needs to be said about Wakaso. We all know him, dedicated, top professional.
Number 2, Thomas Partey. People feel as if Thomas Partey should have been at number 1, but I feel like his influence has waned a little in at least the last 2 or 3 months.
And you know, if you will, we'll just box the two of them together. I tell you this: the reason Partey is number 2 is not necessarily because his influence has waned, but it's because Jordan's influence has risen.
Well, you could put it that way.
You know, it's basically been like
Jordan has actually been on the upset.
Thank you. Partey has maintained his level.
Thomas
He's
Partey.
still doing his great job at Atletico Madrid, influential, plays week in, week out. But it's Jordan who has converted minutes into goals, into influence, into impact.
And these days is tackling people and not getting booked for it.
Oh, my goodness. Master of the dark arts, they call him. 7 fouls against Arsenal. Not a single yellow card. But Arsenal
Premier League record.
Yeah. The second time he's done it. He did it with Swansea in 2017 or so. And now you've got players like, you know, like Wilfred Zaha in that Crystal Palace team. And somehow Jordan Ayew is the best player. It says a lot about him and about his hard work, his mentality. You know, his father has always said he's the more talented of the entire family.
Brothers,
and we've never believed it.
Now it's manifesting.
Until now. Because that goal that he
against
scored,
West Ham.
Goodness me, Benjamin, that is, I think, a Puskas worthy.
That's my goal of the season so far. as things stand now.
It's an absolute brilliant of a goal. And you see, sometimes you need a little bit of luck. And things are going his way. Yeah. He's not getting sent off for silly challenges. He's scoring deflections.
He's actually become really hard-working. He's tackling, he's chasing down players.
Because that goal against West Ham, for example, one defender sticks out a leg, is a foul, right? Yeah. He doesn't get to score a
that was pure poetry for me. Pure poetry.
Oh, my goodness. So, I think, yes, our top two players. But for me, I think Jordan definitely should be number one. The way he's turned his season around, especially at the time when they made that deal permanent. Yeah. I remember reading the comments under the announcement, and they were so negative. Everybody's saying we've thrown money away, 3.5 million, we've thrown money away. What are we doing? Shipping back to Swansea and blah, blah, blah.
I'm sure now, none of those naysayers are anything to say now.
At 3.5 million, Jordan Ayew looks like an absolute bargain.
He looks like he could be heading out of Crystal Palace. My friend, absolutely lovely having you on the show. This list we put together will hurt a lot of people. It will make some people happy, but it is what it is. Top 10 Ghanaian players here on the tracker. My name is Benjamin Nketsia. You had Fentuo Tahiru there, helping me to dissect and also digest this particular list. There's a lot more to come this year on the tracker. Some lovely underground profile interviews to come a little later on the show. So do stick with us. Until then, keep watching Citi TV.